Pay attention to this man with the strange posture. This is said to be the most terrifying and bizarre wife murder case in the history of South Korea. In 1992, an unmarried couple went on a date at a hotel in Busan. The man intended to test his newly purchased camera. Unexpectedly, while the two were being lovey-dovey, the camera suddenly malfunctioned, and the scene changed. The man had cruelly murdered his fiancée. And when the man was arrested by the police, he could only mumble incoherently that it had nothing to do with him. Don't you feel a chill down your spine? Then take another look in the mirror. Is there a figure? That's right, he is not human at all. If you think this is still not thrilling enough, next, the inspector will take you into a bizarre unsolved case. Perhaps some things will completely overturn your understanding of this world. Everything has just begun. First of all, this bizarre murder case. The investigation was only halfway done before the police hastily closed the case. All the physical evidence and documents were sealed in the underground archive room of the prosecutor's office. Until 2019, 27 years later, when the Busan prosecution office was set to destroy these files. It was only then that the case was uncovered by reporters Park Guk-chang and Jang Area. They obtained it through litigation. They originally only wanted to make a special report on this bizarre case. However, when they discovered that tape, when recording the entire process of the wife's murder, a terrifying and bizarre scene appeared. Right after the man brutally murdered his wife, a very clear human figure suddenly appeared on the mirror in the hallway. Immediately after, the man began to convulse, his limbs twisting uncontrollably. It was as if he was being controlled by some invisible force. Guk-chang and Area were immediately in a panic. However, this tape also sparked their even stronger curiosity. So, they reviewed all the files related to this case, and the news reports from that year about the case. However, whether in the files or the news, no records were found regarding the shadow in the mirror. Only the incoherent killer provided excuses for himself. He mechanically repeated one phrase, "This matter has nothing to do with him." The experienced and knowledgeable Guo-chang suddenly realized. The police hastily closed the case, and it is likely related to that shadow. They say curiosity killed the cat. The two immediately decided to uncover the true identity of the shadow. But they never would have imagined. This decision will plunge them into an endless abyss of terror. The Dongqing Hotel from that year had long been closed. Fortunately, the building structure hadn't changed much. Now, only some temporary workers lived here. No one dared to stay in that room, the scene of the crime. Over time, it turned into a storage room. The two of them found that eerie mirror inside. They restored the layout of the entire room and installed high-definition cameras, hoping to capture that shadow again. After doing all this, they visited the nearby residence. They also found the real estate agent from that year. They learned from the agent's boss that, after the incident, the hotel was sold to a middle-aged man named Zhao Yongtai. This man is very strange. He sold a well-located house and land in a May cave. Instead, he bought this remote and run-down little hotel. He only heard from others after the murder happened at the hotel. That house Zhao Yongtai sold also had a murder case occur back then. A family of 3 was wiped out. It was very tragic. Years of professional sensitivity told Guo-chang. There must be a secret hidden inside that no one knows. The agent also said that Zhao Yongtai currently lives on the top floor of the hotel. The two hurried back to the hotel. However, the staircase leading to the top floor had long been sealed off tightly. Guk-chang pressed the doorbell for a long time, but no one responded. Then, they went to the local newspaper. They found reports related to the massacre that occurred at a May cave years ago. This tragedy happened on Children's Day in 1987. The murderer turned out to be the family's eldest son, Zhao Jinghao. Zhao Jinghao killed his mother and sister with a knife. After the crime, he set fire and killed himself. Aside from that, there were no further related reports. A few days later, Guo-chang and Area returned to the hotel again. This time, they finally met Zhao Yongtai. After identifying himself, Guo-chang directly asked, "What is your relationship with the family involved in the massacre?" Zhao Yongtai said he was a distant relative of the Jinghao family. Jinghao's father passed away long ago. Their mother had a hard life raising the 2 children. He would often go over to help manage the household chores. I never expected such a tragedy to occur, since Jinghao's family didn't have many relatives. So, he inherited that piece of land and property. As for Jinghao, aside from the occasional small fight with his mother. Most of the time, he is quite obedient. In order to seek more valuable clues, Guochang and area followed the address provided by Zhao Yongtai. They successfully found the haunted house at a May cave. It is said that shortly after the buyer acquired it, an accident occurred. Therefore, this house became a notorious haunted property, although it was now in a state of disrepair. However, the structure and arrangement inside the house hadn't changed at all. I wonder if Shu Lin would dare to spend a night here. Soon, area found an important clue in the corner. Some things are best not touched, but it was too late. This is a photo of Zhao Jinghao from before his death. The black school uniform and the baseball cap pulled low over the eyes. Although quite handsome, it exuded an indescribable eeriness. Suddenly, the two of them remembered something. Their hearts raced as they froze in place. Because the Jinghao in the photo was the same one involved in the hotel murder case. The strange silhouette in the mirror. But the murder case occurred in 1992. Zhao Jinghao had been dead for a full 5 years. So, is he a person or a ghost? Behind the two tragic cases, how many unknown secrets are still hidden? To unravel this intricate mystery, the two visited residents near a May cave. But, when mentioning this haunted house, everyone looked panicked and avoided discussing it, because people often saw a shadow sitting in the yard late at night. At times, the sound of a little girl laughing and playing could be heard. After much inquiry, a woman finally agreed to provide information. According to this woman, her son accidentally entered the murder house one night. Out of curiosity, he casually filmed with his camcorder. At the time, there was nothing particularly unusual. However, when watching the video again after returning, they could hear the laughter of the little girl. The son then fell seriously ill. The woman thought the video was unlucky and threw it away. At that moment, a woman named Xianjun contacted area. She was a classmate of Zhao Jinghao's sister, Zhao Enmei, in elementary school. As children, she often went to play with Enmei. But just a few days before the incident, Zhao Enmei's behavior suddenly became very unusual. Once, when the school took a group photo of the students, she took a long time to look directly at the camera. It seemed like she knew her impending fate. Even in class, she often looked around anxiously. It was unclear what she was thinking. Even more bizarre was that, once, when she and several childhood friends went to Enmei's house to find her, I heard Enmei's parents arguing loudly. No, wait a minute. Didn't Zhao Jinghao's father's death happen a long time ago? Isn't that family without a father already? No, her father is alive. Enmei was calling for her father. Then, who is the father that Enmei is calling? It turns out that their father is still alive. This is strange. If their father is still alive, why would the hotel owner Zhao Yongtai lie? Or is he trying to cover something up? Guochang and area returned to the hotel to find Zhao Yongtai again. But they waited until nightfall and still couldn't see Zhao Yongtai. As if he had vanished into thin air. With no other choice, they went to the local prosecutor's office in a May cave. They reviewed all the files of that family massacre case. But what they never expected was, Zhao Yongtai was actually registered as a witness in the case files. But why did he falsely claim to be a relative of the Jinghao family? Subsequently, the two found the detective who handled the case back then. After some questioning, they finally uncovered a shocking secret. A jaw-dropping secret. It turns out that Zhao Jinghao's mother is Zhao Yongtai's sister-in-law. Since his brother was unaccounted for after participating in the Vietnam War, Zhao Yongtai often came to help with some physical work. Over time, he developed feelings for his sister-in-law and moved in with her. Zhao Enmei was also born after they started living together. Zhao Yongtai also bought this house with his own money. He was quite wealthy from his clothing wholesale business back then. Moreover, he had no criminal record and was a decent person. The police investigated for a long time before ruling out Zhao Yongtai as a suspect. While Zhao Jinghao's suspicion was undoubtedly the greatest, the police analyzed that the mother and uncle got together. They also gave birth to a younger sister, Enmei. Jinghao, being in his sensitive teenage years, felt that his mother's love was taken away by his sister. This imbalance led to the tragic event. After committing the crime, Jinghao set himself on fire. This explanation is still quite reasonable. So, since Zhao Yongtai has no suspicion of the crime, why has he suddenly gone on the run? Moreover, he was also full of lies before. The confused group returned to the archives once more. They began to study the videotape of the murder case. An even more horrifying truth was laid bare before them. After frame-by-frame playback, there was always a strange sound at the stuttering parts. It was at the moment when Zhao Jinghao appeared in the mirror. "Dad. This is just ridiculous, it's beyond ridiculous, it's completely absurd. Babies, hasn't this completely exceeded your understanding? Unconventional events require unconventional methods." After many twists and turns, Guochang found the most famous shaman in the area. The shaman felt a heaviness in her heart after watching the video. She bluntly stated that Arya should not have picked up that photo full of resentment. She then asked Guochang where Arya was now. Guochang said Arya was at home resting due to a cold. Since it was a serious matter, the shaman decided to make the trip herself. Carrying a large rooster, she headed towards the crime scene. The pitch-black environment naturally exuded a sense of terror. But everything was just beginning. Beware of the high energy ahead. The invisible resentment had already left the shaman gasping for breath. Just as everyone entered the room where Zhao Jinghao had committed suicide, the once quiet rooster began to struggle incessantly. Then, the shaman began to prepare for some tasks. And she instructed her apprentice to scatter some red beans in the corner. Immediately, the shaman chopped the rooster and smeared it on her own face. Then she began to speak into the air. Suddenly, there was a strange noise coming from upstairs. The white paper laid on the floor also had many chicken claw marks. Judging by the direction of the claw marks, it seemed something had gone to the second floor. The group immediately headed to the room from which the noise was coming upstairs. The atmosphere instantly became tense, as if the air had solidified. But just as the shaman was about to open the door, several loud bangs suddenly echoed from the yard below. Guochang hurriedly brought people to the yard to check. After looking around, he discovered that the entrance they came through had somehow been sealed off by something. Fortunately, the opening was not high, but everyone could already sense the air of danger. The séance was hastily closed. At that moment, Arya's mother called in a panic. "Arya has vanished." Guochang immediately rushed to Arya's house. The room was in chaos, with red liquid all over the floor. Guochang picked up the camera that had fallen on the floor. "Let's take a look at what just happened." In the video, Arya stood there dumbfounded. Meanwhile, the cat next to her seemed to be startled by something. Then Arya started to shake her head and sway. She then took out a small knife from the drawer of the stove. There is no doubt that Arya is now possessed by Zhao Jinghao. Next, there was a sound of something being gnawed on, as if indulging in a feast. In order to quickly find Arya, Guochang immediately requested the police to retrieve the surveillance footage from nearby. It was discovered that Arya, before her disappearance, had been sitting alone at the bus stop but hesitated to get on the bus. After the bus had driven several hundred meters, unexpectedly, Guochang found Arya at the murder site. She was seen digging frantically in the yard. It was clear that she had lost her sanity. They quickly took Arya to the hospital. Arya's mental state was extremely poor. The case still hadn't revealed any clues. Someone in the team had already encountered an accident. If Guochang were to abandon the investigation now, perhaps he could save his own life. Clearly, he was not willing to give up halfway. The shaman felt uneasy after learning about Arya's situation. She had already been possessed by an evil spirit and needed an exorcism quickly. However, Arya's condition was far more serious than imagined. Everyone had been busy from morning until midnight without successfully exorcising the spirit. Suddenly, a gust of cold wind swept in, and Arya began to convulse uncontrollably. She kept mumbling the word, "Father." The scene looks exactly like the wife's murder case from back then. The shaman saw this and mounted Zhang Arya with her ritual object. She covered her mouth with her hand and spoke in a weeping mother's tone. "Jinghao, my son, you died so tragically. Mom knows you were wronged. Who exactly harmed us?" As soon as she finished speaking, Arya suddenly calmed down. Then she began to cry uncontrollably. It seemed that she had endless grievances in her heart. Then she kept hitting her body, saying she was on fire. "I'm about to be burned to death." Several people couldn't hold her down. Everyone hurriedly threw her into the nearby water bucket. The shaman forcefully pressed her head into the water. She sternly questioned, "I have extinguished the fire on you. How did you, your mother, and your sister die? Hurry up and tell me everything, hurry up and speak." We saw Jinghao, embodied as Arya, staggering towards the murder house. Guochang quickly grabbed the camera and chased after him. He stumbled all the way to the murder house. He followed the ajar door to the second floor. To his surprise, there was a staircase leading to the attic. Previously, this place was completely sealed off. At this moment, Aria was curled up in a corner of the attic. She was tightly clutching a family photo. Guochang took the photo and was immediately dumbfounded. How could there be two Zhao Yongtais? It turned out that Zhao Yongtai and his brother were actually twins. But why did Aria show this photo to Guochang? There must be a bigger secret hidden in this. They immediately investigated Zhao Yongtai's brother after returning. This investigation was like a bolt from the blue. The true story behind these two murder cases finally came to light. What was unexpected was that Zhao Yongtai's brother, Zhao Bingshan, was actually the biological father of Zhao Jinghao. Zhao Bingshan was a veteran who served in the Vietnam War. After his discharge, Zhao Bingshan recuperated in a government-funded orphanage. Guochang immediately went to the orphanage. Unfortunately, it had been closed since 1987. Guochang then turned and went to the local government office to seek help. Fortunately, records concerning the orphanage were still available. Meanwhile, a chilling truth was finally revealed. It turned out that, on the surface, the orphanage seemed like a paradise. But in reality, it was comparable to a hell on earth. Inside the orphanage, there were countless children who had been imprisoned and killed. The director is utterly inhumane and disregards human life. Over the 10 years of the welfare institution's operation, more than 500 people died under unnatural circumstances. Zhao Bingshan, who was being treated here, also suffered greatly. However, Zhao Bingshan discovered that the only way to survive and leave here was to join the ranks of the abusers. Finally, when the welfare institution was shut down in 1987, Zhao Bingshan found the opportunity to escape alive. But one thing always puzzled people. Zhao Yongtai's leg was never injured at all. It was his brother, Zhao Bingshan, who had the leg injury. So, why did the Zhao Yongtai who appeared earlier at the hotel also have an injured leg? There is only one answer: Zhao Yongtai is not actually Zhao Yongtai. Instead, he is Zhao Bingshan, who escaped from the welfare institution. After returning home, Zhao Bingshan was finally reunited with his wife and children. He discovered that his wife was having an affair with his brother. This caused Zhao Bingshan, who already had post-war trauma and psychological issues, to become even more twisted. After living in discomfort for a while, he finally erupted. First, he killed the cheating couple and their daughter, Anmei. Then he framed his own son, Zhao Jinghao, and he set fire to kill him. After the crime, Zhao Bingshan impersonated his brother, Zhao Yongtai, to continue living. This was to cover up his heinous crimes. Just then, Guochang suddenly received a piece of news. It claimed that someone was holding a large-scale ritual on the back mountain of the Amei Cave murder house. A large-scale sacrificial ceremony was taking place. It seemed related to the Welfare Institute incident and the massacre from that year. Guochang had no time to think more and immediately headed there with the photographer. To his surprise, as soon as they reached the foot of the mountain, he saw Aria and Zhao Bingshan, panicked and stumbling, fleeing for his life. At this moment, Aria has gone crazy and quickly stabbed Guochang several times, sending him away. Many paid a painful price for this investigation. The photographer took Guochang's camera and chased after him. The sound of chanting and incantations echoed along the way. Just as they were about to reach the top of the mountain, a stone altar appeared. The photographer cautiously peered inside. He discovered that it was filled with photos of the redeemed. At the center of the altar was a portrait of Zhao Jinghao. It was only at this moment that all the mysteries became clear. So, the true culprit behind the Zhao family massacre was indeed Zhao Bingshan. At that time, he brutally killed everyone due to his mental issues. To cover his tracks, he hid after the incident calmed down. He disguised himself as his brother Zhao Yongtai and hid in the East City Hotel. It wasn't until his intermittent mental illness was treated that he realized he had killed so many people. And the photos in the cabin should be those who were killed by Zhao Bingshan in the orphanage. He wanted to express his remorse through worship. Yet even so, these victims seemed unwilling to forgive him. Suddenly, a cute little hand knocked over Jinghao's photo. The camera slowly turned. There in the corner, Aria was gnawing on something. Meanwhile, the photos on the wall began to fall one after another. Before the photographer could react, Aria suddenly lunged at him with a knife. With a few quick slashes, The photographer barely managed to hide behind the altar and saved his own life. The scene shifted to Area, possessed by Zhao Jinghao. As she slowly approached Zhao Bingshan. "Why are you doing this, Dad? Dad, do you know how long I've been waiting for you? I miss you so much. I've been waiting for you in the yard every day. But why are you doing this, treating me this way? Why do you have to treat us like this?" Now, at this point, this bizarre case has finally been unraveled. Later, the haunted house was reclaimed and demolished by the government. During the construction, Zhao Yongtai's remains were excavated underground. Meanwhile, Area, who killed her 2 colleagues, was charged with murder. However, she insisted that she remembers nothing.